Hello there, welcome back. We are going to be doing some fabulous stuff on spheres today. Here's my wonderful slide, which I've spent hours preparing for you guys. Now, as you may have noticed, we're at this point here. We're going to look at spheres and hemispheres and some fancy shapes that are related to those. So you don't need to know where the formula comes from, but you do need to be able to recognize it. So 4/3 pi r cubed is the volume of a sphere, and the surface area is 4 pi r squared. Now you should notice that I have not put a sphere here. This is half the shape here. So that's a lovely sphere now. As you can see, I've drawn a perfect circle there. We're going to look at hemispheres as well. So hemispheres, as you may have picked up, is half of a sphere. So give your answer in terms of pi, work out the volume of this hemisphere. So the first thing you're going to do is, well, you know the volume is 4/3 pi r cubed of a sphere. If you have a hemisphere, well, we have to divide all of that by 2. So the way you might just do it is just put all the numbers into the equation and then just divide it by 2. And you get 18 pi. Now, because it says give your answer in terms of pi, you just leave it as 18 pi. Otherwise, use a calculator to convert it. The surface area, again, the same thing. You just put the numbers in. However, there's something that people forget. So this is why I had a hemisphere on this slide as opposed to a sphere, because people forget that this will tell you the surface area of the dome. It will not tell you the surface area of the circle at the bottom. So we need to add pi r squared to the equation depending on the shape that you're given. So in this case, you're left with 18 pi plus 9 pi, which is just 27 pi centimeters squared. So we're going to be using this formula quite a bit. So make sure you've copied it out. So here's a question 1 and 2. Can you try both questions? Pause the video here. Okay, now I'm going to show you the answers. So here are the answers that you should have got. And hopefully there's no problems there other than the fact, well, it's not a problem, but just so you know, that was a diameter and that's just the radius. So you just have to remember to half the diameter. Now, this is a slightly trickier question. So you can see there's a shape on the corner here. Find the volume of the remaining part of the sphere shown. When it says remaining, what it means is this chunk has been taken out. So the shape that you can see on the screen, what is the volume? And then part B, what's the surface area? I'm going to trust you guys will be able to do this whole question. So pause the video, have a go, and then I'll work through it with you. All right, so now I'm going to go through it. So you should have an answer ready to check. So the first thing you might realize here is if you look at a full sphere, you cut it in half, you get a hemisphere. You cut that hemisphere into half, and then half again, you get this little chunk. So essentially, it's 1/8 of the volume which has gone. So you're left with 7/8 of the volume. Another way to do it is if you know the volume of the full sphere, which is 4/3 pi r cubed to get 256/3. You can then say the missing bit is 1/8. So 1/8 of the full sphere. So it's 1/8 times that area, which gives you this bit. So that's the area taken out. And then you can just subtract 1 from the other. And you're left with 224/3 pi. And as I said, another way to work it out is a bit more efficient, is just to do 7/8 of the volume of the sphere, and you get the same answer. So the final answer you should have all got is 224/3 pi meters cubed. That should be cubed. That was my intentional mistake there, just to see if you're paying attention. Well done for spotting that. Right, so second question here is for you to... We're going to work out the surface area now. So again here, if you look at the full sphere and you imagine the surface, outside surface, if you replicate that 8 times, you're going to have the full surface. So again, we have 7/8 of the surface area of the full sphere. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is once you have the full sphere, it's 36 pi. The 7/8 of that is 63 over 2 pi. And then now this is the part which is important, which people, maybe you guys have forgotten accidentally, is we also need to include the surface area of this section here, and this section here, because those areas have been exposed. Now, those three areas are just congruent to each other, so we really just need to work out one area and multiply it by 3. And we know that that's essentially 3/4 of a circle where the radius is 3. So 3/4 of pi times 3 squared, which is here. So you get 27 over 4 pi. And in this case, we want the total surface area, so we add it up together. And you get 153 over 4 pi meters squared. I want to see your attempts at this, even if you got it wrong in the first attempt. I want to see when you upload your work. Can you now do exercise 2? Should take probably less than 10 minutes to do that. And then once you've done exercise 2, come back for the next video.